On this episode of the Turnbuckle, we get backstage news on why AEW couldn't do a Jay Briscoe tribute show on Dynamite. Progress and ICW confirmed they're ending their partnership with the WWE Network, and William Regal reveals that his time in AEW did not go how he planned. Folks, we're in your favorite wrestling move to some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Yesterday, the wrestling world mourned the tragic death of Jay Briscoe, real name Jamin Pugh, and while last night's AEW Dynamite kicked off with an in memoriam graphic, there was no full tribute show similar to the one that had been done after the passing of Brody Lee. Now, Dave Meltzer has reported on the Wrestling Observer Radio that AEW was not allowed to do a tribute show for Briscoe because Warner Media wouldn't allow it. Briscoe and his brother Mark were famously not able to appear on AEW programming despite being signed to Tony Khan's Ring of Honor, as Warner Media didn't allow it on the basis of homophobic tweets Jay had made over a decade ago, which he had since apologized for and had shown remorse about. Despite not being able to make Dynamite a full tribute show, many of the wrestlers who performed, including the Young Bucks, Bryan Danielson, and Jay Lethal, wore black armbands in his honor. His name was also brought up on commentary several times, with AEW announcer Excalibur paying tribute to him as Dynamite went off the air, and Khan taped a Jay Briscoe tribute show for Ring of Honor later on in the night, which will be free for fans via either Ring of Honor's YouTube channel or the Honor Club app when it was released. Meltzer also noted that whenever Ring of Honor gets back to running television shows, the first one will also pay tribute to Jay and will feature some of his matches from over the years. There is also expected to be some form of a memorial dedicated to him at the upcoming Supercard of Honor event, which will take place on Friday, March 31st. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with everyone, all right? The only reason why I didn't talk about Jay Briscoe's passing was just, it felt, to me personally, it just felt really weird to talk about. I didn't know Jay, I didn't know Mr. Pugh personally, right? It just feels weird to speak on something that I didn't really like, I didn't really feel like involved in, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know the guy. Yes, he made comments in the past. He did. And we can't ignore them, right? We can't just sit here and pretend that he did not make comments like that. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that this is a human being and he had a life and he had children. He had a family, So I feel like at the end of the day, he did make those past comments, and no, they were not okay. But at the end of the day, I think that we need to address the current situation. We need to realize that this is a man who tragically lost his life in a sudden manner, and for what it's worth, my condolences go out to the Briscoe family and all those who were affected, and may he rest in peace, and I hope that his legacy lives on from now to the end of time. Next, we're going to talk about Progress and ICW and how they confirm the end of the partnership with the WWE Network. Two popular independent promotions will soon no longer be featured on the WWE Network. Scotland's Insane Championship Wrestling and British promotion Progress released statements on Wednesday that their contracts with the WWE Network have come to an end. It is not clear when the tape libraries will be removed from the streaming service. The statement from Progress reads, Progress Wrestling's first show of 2023 was named Start Spreading the News for a very clear reason, and they can now confirm that it's very positive and long-standing partnership with WWE Network is coming to a harmonious end. After 6 years and nearly 50 shows, both promotions are pursuing different digital media strategies, and fans of both WWE and Progress are going to be the beneficiaries. As one chapter closes, so they say, another one opens, and Progress management can confirm that they are in discussions with a number of high-profile global digital media and streaming options. Progress own an unrivaled video library containing more than a decade's worth of the best of independent wrestling, showcasing many household names that have wrestled at Progress over the course of the past 11 years. Progress would also announced plans to return to the United States for the first time in 6 years with a show during WrestleMania week. Further news announced that the eponymous chapter is that Progress will be returning to the US in March at Los Angeles and linking up with the WWE Showcase WrestleMania 39. ICW content had been available on the network since 2020. The promotion posted a thread on Twitter today updating fans on the future of its library. ICW's contract with WWE has come to an end. We'll be revealing the new homes of ICW programming in due course. In the meantime, all unaired programming will air on YouTube and ICW on demand. A new episode will air on YouTube every day at 5 p.m. GMT from now till Thursday, the 26th of January. ICW On Demand subscribers already have access to 5 new episodes, with 4 more due to air by Tuesday, the 24th of January. Our ICW Fight Club event on Sunday, the 29th of January, will air live on Facebook and YouTube. However, according to a report from Sean Ross Sapp, WWE is discontinuing having independent promotions on the streaming service. I mean, if you're ICW in Progress, you got to be feeling pretty good, mainly mainly because you've got WWE like on the back of you. You know what I mean? Like, you're able to turn around and go, look, they helped us out, and obviously, you know, that's paid dividends considering the fact that Progress was literally talking about how, yeah, we're in discussions with top media groups and everything like that. And listen, man, you gotta give the rub to WWE, okay? They're the ones who like helped you out and everything. I'm not saying that ICW and Progress were like, you know, nothing without WWE. I'm just saying WWE definitely helped them, you know, get a larger foot in the door, which is obviously what you really want. So I'm really curious to see how Progress and ICW were going to be doing after this whole endeavor. I'm sure they're going to be doing perfectly fine considering the fact that they've got other media groups, you know, knocking on the door and everything. So you know what? Only time will tell how they're both going to do. And listen, I'm looking forward to both of their futures. Finally, we're going to talk about William Regal and how he concedes time with AEW didn't go as planned. William Regal is officially back with WWE as Vice President of Global Talent Development. He previously served as Director of Talent Development and Head of Global Recruiting until he was released in January 2022. In March, he debuted at AEW Revolution and became on-screen manager for the Blackpool Combat Club. After turning on Jon Moxley at Full Gear, reports emerged that Regal was returning to his former employer. In one of his final podcast recordings before resuming his behind-the-scenes duties with WWE, Regal appeared on Distraction Pieces and discussed how his time in AEW played out differently than he planned. That was one of the things in the last months of AEW. It was getting far too much about me, Regal said. It should have been about the talent I was with, not about me. I'm quite happy being in the background. All it is grief. I've had my run. I could have had a better last few months as far as TV and doing that, but I didn't go there with that intention. The intention was to do something different, and it started off the way it did, but I didn't expect it to end up being this thing that it was for the last 7 months where I just became talent. I went there with a different plan because I was asked to go there to help out in a different capacity, and that never transpired. AEW boss Tony Khan decided not to renew Regal's contract after Regal expressed a desire to return to WWE and be part of his son's development as a talent. His son, Charlie Dempsey, is a featured member of the WWE NXT roster. Per the release of the agreement with Khan, Regal cannot appear on WWE programming during 2023. So I guess he just wanted to be a manager, and that was it. Like, he didn't want to get in, like, I guess he didn't want to get on the mic, you know, he didn't want to get involved in anybody's matches or anything like that, which I feel like, you know, I don't really think it was that bad, but, you know, that's William Regal didn't want to do that. So at the end of the day, I feel like this is, I feel like he probably, you know, enjoys this position a lot more just because he's not like too involved in everything. And obviously after 2023, I doubt that he's going to be, you know, rearing his head in NXT anytime soon. I feel like he's probably going to be perfectly fine being a backstage role. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about how it was really interesting that all that happened, he really didn't want that to happen. He was actually the complete opposite. Like, no, I don't want to be here right now, which is really interesting. And you know what? It says a lot because when he left AEW and when he went to WWE and everybody found out that he was going to be a backstage role, everybody got upset. Everybody was like, I don't want him to do that. I want him to be out on the camera and everything. And it turns out that that's not what he wanted to do. So it's very interesting. So look, at the end of the day, I mean, this is what he wants to do. And listen, I mean, more power to him. What are we talking about? So they didn't want to air the Jay Briscoe why do I keep saying that? The Jay Briscoe tribute, mainly because of the comments that he made in the past. At the end of the day, this is just, as me personally, I feel as though that yes, it's fair to acknowledge it, but I still think at the end of the day, the man is a human being. He has every right to be shown a tribute because it's only fair to pay respects to a man who tragically lost his life. Now, ICW in Progress, that's very interesting just because it seems kind of weird, not so much abrupt, just weird that like it just like ended. You know what I mean? I felt like that was something that they were probably going to keep going for quite some time now, considering that Triple H was in charge. Well, not like in charge, but you know, I figured that was a partnership that I you know, they didn't really have a problem with keeping. But listen, these, you know, they gotta turn over the stone, right? Turn over the leaf. You know what I'm talking about. You know, they gotta like move on, I guess, right? And they're in the progress of the companies and everything, no pun intended, you know. And again, like I said, Progress seems to be doing well. They've got a bunch of digital media groups, you know, knocking on the door and everything, so only time will tell how they're gonna do. And yeah, man, I assumed William Regal was perfectly fine in AEW, but it turns out what he was doing in there was not what he wanted to do. And you know what, can't really say anything. As long as he's happy, you know, then I don't really have anything to worry about. Folks, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow as well. And as always, big hugs all around.